Hey guys, and welcome back to the 80th episode of the Junkie podcast. My name is Amber. I'm coming to you from my home in Texas, where I live with my husband, our 3 daughters, and 3 dogs. It's been about 2 weeks since I last sat down and spoke with you guys. Yay me for being consistent and sitting down again in the month of February. You get 2 podcast episodes. Winning. So it has been a couple of weeks since I last sat down and spoke with you guys. I've worked on quite a bit and had a lot going on. So I'll just get right in on it. There was some drama with one of my projects. The baby actually has learned to push out our bar height tables and chairs and get up and discover what wonderful things Mom has been holding out and hiding from her. So I usually leave my project out throughout the whole day. I work on it, I clean, I work on it, I take care of her, etc. And she was like, "Hey, Mom, what's going on up here?" I was washing dishes, had my back completely turned towards her, and was listening to music, so there was lots of interaction happening. She spilled tea all over the table and proceeded to use my yarn balls as a soaking device for the tea. This one's completely fine. The actual sweater wasn't wet at all, but this yarn was literally, I could squeeze it and tea just spilled out of it. There were curse words said. I had to walk away. I was extremely upset. I posted all about it on my family's Instagram, which is @3lassies. You can also follow my knitting content at _yarnjunkie. I don't always think to say that, so yay. But since that's happened, I have had to walk away from this project. I've been trying to get it done and get a fair amount done on it so I could wear it to DFW Fiberfest, which is coming up in April. I do want to be able to wear this. It will be finished off as a capped sleeve. I saw Tabby from Hey Sister Yarn Co. do that with her swag, and I really liked the look of it. So, especially in Texas, I think it will get a lot more wear as like a t-shirt with that lace yoke. I just think it will be, this is actually the front, that it will actually be really, really, really beautiful once it's done. And I did get quite a bit on the body, maybe 4 inches since I last showed you guys, but it is such a slog. This is so slow going for me. The cable crosses. I can't cable without a cable needle, and so I'm having to do like the 1-stitch cable. It's so slow for me. It's definitely a labor of love at this point. It's for the product, not the process. And anytime I get to a point like that on a project, it's time for me to take a break from it. So I set this on the back burner. Hopefully I do return to it before Fiberfest. That is living in that Crafty Fox project bag. These to me are really comparable to the fringe bags. The fringe bags are, of course, completely different. They're all canvas and they have interior pockets, whereas this size on that Crafty Fox bags do not have interior pockets, and this is a mushable fabric. It doesn't have interfacing or anything, and this is a wax canvas on the bottom. But I do think that the leather on these handles are of a higher quality than the fringe handles. The ties are really nice, and she does custom orders, and I really enjoy the Rifle Paper Co. prints, and she has a lot of those, and so this is one of my current favorite bag makers. I have quite a bit of these project bags. She offers different sizes, like there's like a boss and a mini boss. I don't know what her names for her bags are, but this is the one down from the largest. And the largest, I do have one, and it has interior pockets, but this does not. And then I have one smaller than this that also does not have interior pockets. But they all have the leather with the canvas on the bottom and the beautiful fabrics on the upper. So that's really cool. And then the bigger bag than this is just taller. It's not any wider. It's just a deeper bag. So again, that was that crafty little fox handmade. She's on Instagram and Etsy. That's not going to show up. That crafty little fox. There we go. Sorry for having to tilt the screen. So in taking a break from that project, I really wanted to have a palette cleanser. I really contemplated just casting something on out of the stress of it all. I thought I deserve to cast on, but I'm trying to be really good and work through a lot of my whips. And I thought, what better thing to just do a quick washcloth, because then I'm casting something on, but I'm done with it quickly and I can have like that sense of accomplishment, because I'm telling you, life with a toddler, you do not always have a sense of accomplishment throughout the day. It's cleaning the same messes, having the same compromises made on meals, and it's just, you don't have a lot of sense of accomplishment. So I quick knit up and crocheted this set of dishcloths out of, I think I got this yarn from Hobby Lobby, so it's their cotton brand, maybe that Crafty Addict or so, whatever their cotton brand is. I did have the ball band. It has Valentine in the name. These are like pinks and reds and whites. So I felt it was especially appropriate for February. And this is the Almost Lost washcloth, which is a really perfect palette cleanser, but also just easy project to work on throughout the day if you just have a little bit of time to knit and then a little bit of time to knit, because these little wedges are all done here. I don't have this one sewed up. Are all done individually. So you knit a wedge, you knit a wedge, you knit a wedge, on until you have 14 wedges, and then you sew it with a long string up the center, and then you have this little washcloth when you're done, which is one of my favorite washcloth patterns. And my mother-in-law was out here recently doing my dishes at my house and she really loved using my knit washcloths, so I thought it would be great to have a stack of them to give her either for Mother's Day or her birthday. Her birthday's in June, so it's like right after Mother's Day. And I went ahead, after I got done with this, I had about half a ball left. I crocheted this just by doing, basic increases in a circle. And then I did a little picot edging on that. And so I just thought that's a nice way to use up the scraps. And I still have like the littlest nugget. I should have brought it to show you guys of this left. But I just love how that worked up so differently in crochet versus knitting. And then I went, since I decided to do this whole stack of washcloths for my mother-in-law, I went through my stash of cotton yarn, and I'm just not super in love with a lot of those colors. And I had seen at Joann's recently, I was in there for Valentine's Day party stuff because I'm room mom, and I'd seen yarn, didn't buy any because I have lots of yarn, but I could not get this one colorway out of my head. So I went ahead and went back and scooped it up. And when I went back, originally it wasn't on sale, but when I went back, it was buy one, get one 50% off. So double win. And so I got 4 colors. This is the one that I fell in love with and had to go back for. It's like a coral with all of these blues. I think it's like Coral Seas or something. Again, these are from Joann's, and it's the Lily's Sugar and Cream brand. And then there were supersized ones. So I've already knit a dishcloth, and I'll probably knit another dishcloth from this and possibly even crochet one like this, a smaller one. We'll see, maybe even some face scrubbies. I might have to grab her. Hang on, I'm coming. So this is how you knit the Almost Lost washcloth. I just said this, didn't I? You do the wedges and then you sew it up. I'm coming. Okay. So yeah, I got this solid coral color, which is Coral Rose. One sec. Okay. I got this coral. I got Sunrise Ombre. And then Emerald Isle. Nice. Kind of all have a theme. And so these will be stacks of dishcloths to go to my mother-in-law. And I also really would like to knit her a shawl and possibly a pair of socks. She does a lot for our family, and so I really feel She's super knit worthy, and we were talking. The baby had some of my yarn out. She loves to play with yarn. I have no idea where she gets it. She plays with my yarn all the time, and she had a bunch of little mini skeins in one of these baskets that I have. My mother-in-law was talking about how beautiful the yarn was, and so I think that I'm going to use it to do Amba O'Brien's Advent Shawl, I think it's called. It's like a rectangle lace. It's real pretty. I think that I can use, I'll have to switch the way the yarns are used. Like I'll have to use my main yarn where she does Advents, because I have a small mini set. I think it's like 10, 20 gram minis. So it's not that much yarn, not that much yardage, but I'll figure it out. That's a future dream knitting. When I picked up those at Joann's, I was in Hobby Lobby for some reason or another, and I'd been wanting to try this Scrubology Scrub It yarn from Yarn Bee. And I know that Nitty Natty, Natalie, I believe it's the Nitty Natty podcast. I might be wrong on what her podcast is called, but she had been doing these tulle crocheted scrubbies, like just using the tulle that you make tutus from. But I'd seen this, and it's nylon. It's a really interesting construction yarn, and I'd wanted to give it a try for kitchen scrubbies, and so I went ahead and picked up a skein and crocheted. I did this quickly this morning. It's really nice. Tim and I have been going to the gym, like I'd mentioned in the previous episode, and so now our whole morning routine has changed and allowed me so much more crafting time. Like that's when I made all of these, is basically in the morning. He drives us back and forth to town. The girls go to school 20 miles away, which is also where we go to the gym. And so we have 20 minutes in the morning to drive. And so I made this on our drive back. It's just a quick little circle, and I did the crab stitch around the edge. And a crab stitch is just basically going backwards, doing a single crochet backwards. And it just creates a really nice border on something that's otherwise pretty simple and plain. I haven't actually used this yet, so I don't know how well this performs, but I am eager to give it a shot and possibly make a whole little stack for gifts and such. So I do like this bright green lime color, and that's, I think, what the color is called, is lime. But the reason why I went and looked at the yarn at Hobby Lobby is because someone that I follow, she's a friend. Like I've met her in person a couple of times, but just an acquaintance, like someone that, I see her at fiber events, and I'm like, I know to say hello, but so I follow her on Instagram, but I don't know her. Right? Anyway, she's knitting this beautiful tea towel, and I just fell in love with the pattern. I can't even remember what the pattern name is, but I bookmarked it so I could go and buy it. And she used, I love this cotton in color pewter and ivory. So I'm totally just copycatting her because I was so inspired by that photo that she posted on Instagram with the tea towel. So that is what this is. And I have all of that living, like I said, in this beautiful canning project bag, which I thought was especially appropriate for my kitchen items. So those were my palette cleansers. I also started looking at my sock whip of shame because I have so many socks in states of undone, and they just need to be finished up. So this one I started, I can't even tell you, probably in 2018, and like the end of 2018, and I just finished this one up at the end of last year, 2019. And this is Jinx yarn in the colorway Phoenix. I really love the aesthetic that I have going on here, because this is my moon phase bag it's another bag by Stitch and You Bags. Just a cute little sock bag. And I have this needle minder from my friend Mommy Sew, who is on Etsy, but she also sells these in my local yarn shop. So I'm supporting both by buying them. Yay. And then I have this beautiful Jinx yarn in the Fox colorway, which is the Phoenix, Fox the Phoenix on Harry Potter. And then a lemon drop from a homespun house. Sucra makes them for Molly of a Homespun House. which is Dumbledore's favorite. So I just really love the Harry Potter-esque theme that I have going with this. It's just feeding that aesthetic for me. The heel yarn I'm using is another Jinx yarn in her Lantern Festival colorway. It breaks my heart. Seriously, I know that I'm so dramatic every time I knit with Jinx yarn. I'm going to say this, but I missed her, and I'm sad that she's not dyeing anymore. She's definitely one of my all-time favorite dyers. And I mean, just look at this ombre, like, just love it. But the other socks that I'm working on are also all Jinx yarn. This one's ready for the heel. I will probably get that knit this weekend, possibly even today. I'm using a Fish Lips Kiss heel on it, which is what I did on this one. And then I did a contrast toe as well, or coordinating, as it were. So the next sock I am working on is this, another sock that was cast on in 2018. I finished this off at the end of 2019. I have a coordinating heel on this one too. This is Molly of a Homespun House Conspiracy Theory. Love that colorway. It's such an amazing colorway. So I did dye yarn this week, and I have a newfound appreciation for indie dyers. I will leave it at that and show you my yarn in a minute. But this sock, here's its pair. I have gotten down on the leg. I will be knitting the heel this weekend again. Hopefully I can get these two heels knit this weekend. And this was the dark unicorn colorway from Jinx yarn. And another sock, and these are all living in my little Molly of a Homespun House basket. It's the perfect size for just a bunch of sock whips. This is another Jinx yarn, the tartan colorway. I knit this last Christmas. And I've gotten the second one cast on and a heel knit into it already. And this one has my little Lock and Loo progress keeper on it. But that is that progress. Ready for the foot. Let me give it 1 sec. Okay, and now I also still have these that need their mates. She's talking to me again. I'm coming, just a sec. Oh, I didn't show you guys these last time. Okay, so these were an FO last time, and I forgot to show you guys. But this is the Forest Friends dolls or something. I know I'm a terrible podcaster, but I am on Ravelry, and I do create project pages for almost every single thing that I knit. And so if you ever have a question, Yarn Junkie 6 on Ravelry, go to my project page. Like, I literally have 200 projects on my project page. I'm not always super great about doing my needle, but usually I at least link the pattern so you can find that. And sometimes I talk about the yarn. But this is just a really good DK/worsted weight scrap buster, making these little dolls for friends. It's super easy. You can knit them flat or in the round. I can't remember if it's a paid pattern, but a friend of mine, Amy, of the owner of the yarn store, West 7th Wool, had knit these and had a couple in her shop. And so I was totally inspired to go home and make my own. I love his little sweater and his little hands in his pockets. You okay? She's in there eating a snack, and she like coughed like she was going to choke. And so I don't know why, but I'm always super aware of my kids choking. I don't have any more. They're all gone. We're going to get through this. She's a lot. Okay, so I knit this, totally inspired by Amy. Forest Fiber Friends or Fiber Dolls or something. And then I knit another one. He's not finished. He's not finished because he needs a face. And he got a little janky. I don't know what happened. He's not sewn as well, and his head's a lot smaller. Like, I didn't pay attention to my stitch count, but he's a little bit smaller than the raccoon, and he's just not sewn up as well. I don't feel like. Maybe he just needs a face, and then he'll be all good. But he's a little kitty cat with his little sweater, a little raccoon friend. Yeah, so this was just a fun little way to use up some scraps. I used Madeline Tosh and some Malabrigo on this one, and then again Madeline Tosh and Malabrigo on this one. I have a lot of those DK worsted weight scraps from different sweater projects and hat projects. So perfect little use up. You can make these for knitting friends or for friends' kids. They're super quick and enjoyable. Again, a good palette cleanser. Something that's done really fast. What else have I been working on? I dyed some yarn this week. I'll show you guys that. I actually was super nervous to even do anything with my dye, and my husband actually was the one to finally sit down with me and say, we're doing this, I'll hold your hand through it, it's not scary. And so he helped me, like we played around on like paper towels and mixed different colors and had an afternoon doing that. I actually posted a picture to my Yarn Junkie Instagram account, and then this week I had some time, and so I finally just bit the bullet and did it. I bought a lot of yarn before I even had any idea about how much work it was to dye yarn. Like, I've watched the vloggers out there that dye yarn, and I know that they talk about how much work it is, but I just never really appreciated how labor intensive it is. There's a lot involved. There's a lot of steps. And so I got all the steps set up, and then it was like, okay, now it's time to dye, and I don't have time. I have to break it all down and go and do kid pickup or kid drop off or deal with, after school stuff. And so it's just a lot. I have a newfound appreciation and respect for indie dyers, and then being able to have the consistency that they do. I know that myself, I have complained about a skein being slightly off because heaven forbid my speckles not match up in my sweater, but just the consistency that they're able to produce from the colors alone, I have a newfound respect for them. I don't think that I'll ever be at the level of someone that sells the yarn that I dye. I definitely am glad that I have it and that I can use this new medium for my creativity, but it's not, it's just something that I will do like for me or friends or gifts or something. But I was really happy with my results. This is definitely something that I would buy in a store. I broke up my worsted weight skein of yarn into 20-gram minis so I could have, 5 little mini skeins to play with and dye, so I wasn't ruining an entire skein of yarn, which once I saw what I did, I was like, I wish I would have dyed an entire skein. So take that for what it is. But this is I put all of this in the same pot. What I did, so I wasn't investing a ton of money into this. I did spend a lot of money on the yarn. That's just part of it. If you wanted to get like 1 skein or 2 skeins, just go find an indie dyer, or even I would recommend writing to one of the indie dyers that you like with their base and saying, hey, could I just buy some bare yarn from you? Because I'm interested in just playing around with dye and seeing if they might do it, because the way I did it is I ordered directly from like Yarn to You or Wool to Dye For or something, and got, big sacks of yarn. I got like a bunch of sock blanks, a big sack of like 10 worsted weight, 10 DK weight, 10 fingering weight, which was not a small investment to be able to do it that way. It's not cost effective for everybody to do it that way. So I think a really good way would be to I don't really like this worsted base. Like if I were to see this in a store, I wouldn't necessarily go for this base. Just because I feel like the twists can be it's kind of a looser twist, and that can be annoying for me to split stitches and stuff. So that's why I say going to a yarn dyer that you know that you like their bases. That way, immediately, there's no trial and error on that. You're getting something that you know the quality of and that you appreciate. But what I did also on my supplies is I asked a lot of my family and friends, hey, do y'all have, catering pans, spatulas, little measuring tools that y'all aren't using that are old that you want to replace? I don't know a lot of people who don't have extra junk in their utensils drawer that they're just trying to offload or get rid of. And so I asked my dad, and his wife actually went through their stuff and gave me a bunch of catering pans. And so I was able to have pans to dine in and didn't have to worry about contaminating my family's food pans or whatever. And so this is what I came up with. I just played around with dye, dry dye, and did like a low immersion speckling situation. One of my favorite, there's not a lot of information out there, but there are a couple of channels that I've really gleaned a lot of information from. One of my favorite current channels is Fiber for the People. She's doing really great things for sharing a lot of her knowledge base and how she gets the variation of color depth and really goes into the business side of it. Sorry, I drank way too much coffee. She really goes into the business side of it and tries to get people to understand or appreciate, like, just because your success isn't the same as other people's success doesn't mean you're not successful, and that, there are things that people of the super success or the superstardom in our industry, there are things that they're having to compromise on their creativity to be able to like do those wholesale orders or to be able to do all of those kits for those designers, and they're maybe not able to fulfill a lot of their creative desires in dyeing yarn because it's turned into this industry for them. And so that is something that I really considered and just said, okay, I'm just doing this for myself, just doing this for fun. Maybe I'll gift some yarn or give away some yarn, but it's not going to be anything that I'm going to do for a business for myself. And that's okay. But it really took sitting down. My husband really had to convince me that that was okay, that I'm not doing this for, a paycheck, that it's okay just to do this for a hobby. Because I just look at everybody else's success and I'm like, oh, I could do that. But my success right now is raising my family and keeping everybody on their schedule. And that's okay too. And that's a lot of work. And I digress. I've gone off on a complete tangent. This is the yarn that I came up with. I did like a low immersion. I put a bit of water in the pan, laid my soaked yarn in there with some citric acid, and just kind of, with a strainer speckled the yarn. And I really love those like clean shots of speckles I got where it just soaked it up right away. That's kind of the effect I was going for. I would like some different colors. I just basically bought a starter kit, so I have some primary colors to play with. And so I do wish I had something a bit more, and I don't know how to mix them to be able to get the colors I'm after. I don't have a lot, so I am happy with this. I would definitely buy this in a store if I saw it. Because I only did 3 of these skeins, I decided to use the other 2 and dye them solid, from like the blue that I used here and then the pink that I used here. I did a solid blue and a solid pink. This is actually way more electric than it's showing up on camera. It's a really beautiful, bright blue. And I thought what I could do, originally I was like, oh, I could do like some fingerless mitts, but I think I could even do like the brim of a hat, the body of the hat, and then maybe even a pom-pom on top, because that's like all the speckles. And wouldn't that be cute? And this is the pink, and this was like a magenta colorway. And like, I'm learning about the value of colors too. Oh, that's like almost the same color. Like shades or being able to make something brighter or darker based on less or more dye or less or more water. There's all kinds of math and variables involved. I really didn't appreciate all of the detail, the devil's in the details. I had no idea, you guys. But so this is a win, right? This is a win. But with wins, we also have losses, not loses. I am a mess. I cannot think of words. My brain is not firing today. Trying to get this back all in a way that is kosher. There we go. Beautiful skeins of yarn. So yes, I love this. I would definitely buy this if it was like a kit in a store or something. Like, oh cool, what a cool hat. I think that's going to be a beautiful, beautiful hat. But I also dyed a sock blank, and it looks like a kindergartner could have done a better job. Where's that sock blank? An amazing sock blank. I have another one too that I thought I brought over here, but I guess I don't have it. I'm looking because I know the baby did something with that project bag. Anyway, this is a sock blank by a professional. Andre Sue Knits dyed this hand-painted sock blank. And I was like, I can do that. Here's my confidence level. Here's my ability level. Like, do not match up. I have way more confidence than I do artistic ability, that is. And I had it in my head. So Tim, for Valentine's Day, got me these beautiful flowers. We went and got a hotel. We went to the movies and had really amazing sushi dinner. I love sushi. It's my favorite. And it was just a really nice, relaxing evening to be able to just spend time with him just hanging out and being by ourselves and not having, children about and all involved in our drama. So we went and saw The Gentleman. Highly recommend. Amazing movie. New Guy Ritchie film. Very, very big Guy Ritchie film lover. I love everything that he's done. And it's got Matthew McConaughey in it. So it's got a Texan in it. I'm going to go watch it and support my fellow Texan. This is my sock blank. Don't laugh at me. I'm super embarrassed. I'm sharing with you guys because it's all part of the learning process. And I know you guys are going to laugh in a good way, not a mean-spirited way. So seriously, it looks like a kindergartner could have done it. I was trying to go for the flowers that he got me were these really pretty roses. They were like an orangey color with these red tips. And I thought, oh, I'll recreate those beautiful flowers on a sock blank that I can knit and think of these wonderful flowers that he got me. So yeah, I like the colors, and that's all that really matters. The colors are going to be really cool in a sock or even like a little cardigan for the baby or something. But yeah, it's just, there's no artistic ability there whatsoever. That's just really kind of sad. But like I said, I really do like the colors. I think those shots of pink and yellow are going to be so much fun over that overall blue effect. Yeah, and it's even going to have, some white or less blue parts. And so the overall effect on the sock, I think, is going to be really cool. Even if my art is atrocious, y'all don't laugh. So that is most of what I've been working on. The baby just destroyed this. This past weekend we went camping. I found a cable needle. We went camping and I had taken some socks to work on, but I also took this little mini skein and this hook because I've been wanting to do something with this hook, just try it out, give it a swatch. And this is a clover hook that I picked up at Joann's. And when crochet was my main hobby, I didn't like these handled crochet hooks because I felt like it slowed me down when I was crocheting. But since I've switched to knitting, since knitting's been my main hobby, I haven't given these another try. I do really like using the furls hooks. So this is a heirloom furls hook. This is the Furls Crochet Company. They're actually expanding. I think that there's a couple of more factories, for lack of a better word, that are making these now. These used to be only handmade in Austin, and now there's more places. I think they opened up a place like in the UK. I love these crochet hooks. I couldn't say enough amazing things about them. They're ergonomic and just really beautiful and well done. These are a bit more expensive. These are the wooden ones that are heirloom quality. So as the name suggests, you're going to shell out a pretty penny for them. But I found this to be enjoyable to work with as well. And especially for the smaller sizes. For the furls, I've had the smaller sizes and my tip break off just for user error more than anything. And Furls does have such amazing customer service because they, of course, replaced it in a questions asked right away. Like I got a hook sooner than I could have ordered one. But so for that reason, I do prefer a metal tip for smaller circumferences, smaller hooks, smaller gauges. That's probably the right word. So I wanted to swatch this hook, and I just had a little mini with me, and I thought, how beautiful. I've seen these like log cabin scrap blankets. I've seen a few knit ones, and I've seen quilted ones more than anything. But it's just basically, taking little strips of fabric and sewing them together. And I thought I could do that in a crocheted blanket. And so I've begun a little log cabin crocheted blanket. And the reason I laugh is because I probably have 2 or 3 other crocheted blankets that have been started and abandoned. I have the little weekender blanket, which is like little hexies that you just whip up and crochet and then put them all together, which that's the part for me that it's like, yeah, okay, I'll crochet like a stack of 50 of those hexies. It's the putting them together that's literally never going to happen. And then I have the granny stripe blanket project, but I've crocheted that long enough to be able to go on my king size bed. It's too cumbersome to be able to carry around somewhere. So I thought this way is a really good way to have a crochet project on the go all the time and just do these little 6-inch squares. And then I can put together these 6-inch squares. That's not as tedious as like these little tiny rounds. And so I've just been doing a couple of different hand-dyed scrap yarns in my stash, and I'm really liking the effect. And I love that these are just small enough. I can put them in any project bag, and then this is just a single crochet. I'm going in different directions, of course, but I could probably do any crocheted stitch as long as I keep them 6 by 6. It will be the same, and I can have this like sampler Afghan type thing that's like this quilted, beautiful crocheted blanket. So far I've really been enjoying working on this. We'll see if I keep at it or not. And I have been enjoying my little clover crochet hook. So I think that is all that I have for you guys. My other dream knitting, I really want to cast on this sock. This yarn is new, but I've been coveting it and carrying it around with me and trying to get my other sock whips done so I can cast this on. And again, this is like so similar to what I'm wearing. This sweater, you see how it sits on me? I almost never wear it because it's so ill-fitting and it annoys me so much. This is the Featherweight cardigan by Henna Fettig. I knit it to the pattern a couple of years ago, and it just doesn't fit great. This is the first cardigan that I ever knit, and it's fingering weight Madeline Tosh cactus flower. My knitting is impeccable on this, I shall say. I do think that it was the pattern that makes this so ill-fitting. Yeah, it's definitely, the other sweaters that I knit right before and right after this fit great. They're different designers. And even my friends who have knit this pattern, it doesn't fit any of them good. And I have blocked it to the point where it would sit like this, but it still like rolls off the shoulders as you go about your day doing your regular movements. It's just the worst. It does keep your arms warm. It is like my nighttime or my gym sweater, because I do really love it. And I did put a lot of work into this to have to like rip it out. Though I might, because I love the yarn so much. But it looks a lot like this. And I am coveting this yarn, but avoiding casting on. I also would really I just want to accomplish something. So I think that I'm going to kick this up and crochet a pig with this yarn. That's why I got this yarn, to crochet a little pig for the baby. It's the Toft Crochet Patterns, Edward's Menagerie. I have the book. I love crocheting those little animals. I can get one done in a weekend. They're just really quick and easy, and you have this like great sense of accomplishment after you've completed a project. And there's another reason why I want to get this done, is because West Devon Pool just bought more kits. They have the Toft kits, and I've never had one of the kits. I've just always done out of the book. But they have the Highland Coo, the Highland Cow. I need him. I need him in my life. I must crochet him. He is so adorable, and they have the kit, and I did not let myself buy it last night when I was at knit night. I was like, no, Amber, we have things at home to work on and complete. But if I get this pig made, I'm going to reward myself and buy the Highland Coo so I can crochet the Highland Coo and have him guard the fiber. But I think, oh no, I didn't show y'all this, did I? I don't think I did. I got the arbor knots from the Tilting Planet on Etsy and on Instagram. Okay, so look at all of them. Can you appreciate look at this guy with a little spoon and his little cereal. Look at him. And I love the gemstone ones with the gem heads. Okay, so she's been hand whittling these. Barbara from the Tilting Planet. I'm pretty sure her name's Barbara. BJ, BK. It says BJ on the card, and then it says BK on the bottom of this guy with the number 36. So maybe he's number 36, which is especially appropriate because I will be 36 this year. But look at him, little mushroom head guy. Can you even? Because I cannot. I love him so dang much. I am obsessed. He sits at my coffee bar looking at me every morning with his little insightful face. And I want them all. I want more. I definitely will buy more, maybe even as gifts, because that's just the cutest thing ever. Yeah, so definitely go check out her shop, support her, give it a like. And I think that's all I got for you guys. Thanks so much for joining me. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you've been working on. Say hello. And yeah, thanks for coming back and checking me out. I'll see you next time.